This video is going to be on the alphabet. The first letter is Aleph. That's where we get alpha from. Now, I said these are word pictures. Mouth pictures. Each letter is a picture of how you use your mouth. So you'll notice that Aleph, you read Hebrew from right to left, and you read the letters from lower right to upper left. And that's telling you the direction of the air and your lips. So Aleph really doesn't have a sound. It's a mouth stop. You're saying it in your throat. And then the actual vowel would be vowel pointed below the letter to tell you what kind of sound you're going to make in your throat. So Aleph is kind of like goo. Oh, it's like you're gargling. So when you hear Jews say Elohim, they're saying it from the back of their throat, the A, the Aleph. Next letter is Bet, and these are the names of the letters. And it's got a V sound if there's no little dot inside it, and it's got a V sound without the dot, and it's got a B sound as in B with the dot. Notice when you're looking at it that since you're reading from lower right to upper left, your bottom of your mouth stays stable, and it's ba. You're moving your upper mouth. Now you could also depict it as moving your jaw down, but the focus is on the air going up through the roof of your mouth. Okay. Next letter is Gimel, and I don't know, it just looks like a G to me. I can't even explain it. It's a G sound. It's sort of got a GH with it sometimes. I'm not going to go through the Begad letters. I'm just going to say this simply, okay? Next letter is Dalit. Now, without the dagish, it's a DTH sound. The, like in ma'od. With the dagish inside it, little dot just below the roof, it's got a D. It's a hard D then. So notice how, again, there's no movement in the jaw. It's all coming up through the roof of the mouth. The sound, the. It just looks like it. I don't know. It looks like the way the mouth is to me. Okay. Next letter is He. You'll see how it's open in the upper left. You know. It's a sound, but your mouth is open. The mouth open, the air coming up out through the upper mouth. Next is commonly called vav today. In the 1930s, they called that a wow. It's a W sound. It's just w. Next letter is Zion. Looks like a dagger, and that's exactly what the word means. It's got a Z. It's a, Z is in zoo, or Zion is better even. Next is another H sound. It's chet, but it's got a sort of J-ness to it. The mouth is closed. So try, with your mouth closed, or your teeth closed, really. Next is tet. Now this is, they say it's T as in toy, but it's not really, how do I want to say this? It's breathy. Next is the yod. Now, yod is often pronounced like R-E sound, but it's more often like a y. And whether it's a y or a y or a ya depends on the vowel point below it. Now, a really easy one is the next letter, kaf. See how your mouth is open? Ka, ka, ka. You want to use a little H on it, put a little English on it. Kaf. Next letter is really easy. Look at the mouth position. Lamed. You can just see yourself opening your mouth. Lamed. Okay, next letter is mem. Now the mem, when it's closed, when it's a final M in a word, it looks like a square. So you got mem. You can just see it. It looks like an M anyway in English, but you can just see how the mouth comes down. If you're going from lower right to upper left, you can just see the M sound. Next letter is nun. The final nun looks kind of like the dagger, also only very long. So that's N. Next is the samex. They call it samek today. It used to be called samex. You can see the S. See the little, looks like the little S upper left hand corner. Samek. It's a true S. Okay, then comes the ayin. Now the ayin is like the aleph in that it doesn't have it doesn't have a sound of its own. But you'll notice how, unlike the aleph is where all the sound is closed in the back of your throat, or your mouth is basically, whatever sound you're going to make, it's in the back of your throat. The ayin, it's the opposite. The sound is going to be coming out the top, from the top of the roof of your mouth, down your tongue. So whatever vowel point there is, or whatever vowel sound there is, which will be pointed underneath the ayin, it'll be coming down from the roof of your mouth, down your tongue. The next is called pei, but it's really an F sound without the dagesh. The dagesh is going to be a little dot. It looks like an upside down G, and the dagesh will be there to signify it's a hard P if there's no dagesh, and sometimes it's hard to tell, especially if you have to read solid Hebrew text that you can't size. Then it's an F sound without the dagesh, with the F's, with the dagesh. Next is the Sade. It's a TS sound. That's pretty easy for us to recognize these days. And I don't know, it just looks like TS to me, so I don't know how to describe it. Just, again, go from lower right to upper left as far as the airflow. The next is the qaf. And the qaf is, it's kind of with a click in the back. You're sort of making a click first. You know, when you hear al-Qaeda, you're doing a little click on the upper back of your throat before you say the Q sound. And it looks like a Q. Well, it looks like a P to us, but it looks like a Q to the Israelis. Next is Rash. Now, the sound of the R in Hebrew. Modern Hebrew, it's more like French R. But it's really between a French R and a Spanish R. And when I go to pronounce it, I don't know why I do this, but sometimes I'll pronounce it more like the Spanish and sometimes more like the French, and I don't know why I do that. It just seems natural. Alright. Okay, the next is the Sheen. Now the characteristic looks like a W to us in English, but that's the air movement going on. And the Sheen, if you look that dot, see that dot off to the upper left? That's telling you it's Sheen. And it's kind of like between an S and an SH, but there's not very much H in it. By contrast, the next letter, Sheen, has the dot on the upper right-hand side. And that's got a lot of H in it. Shh, shh. Kashoresh. Shoresh, it means root in Hebrew. Like a root, that's in Isaiah 53:2. Kashoresh. Alright. The next and final letter is the tau. And I've seen a lot of commentary about how this ought to go. A lot of people say, of course, they're mixing up the ancient pronunciation with modern. A lot of people say, oh, it's the same as the tet. But it's not the same as the tet because the letter is got a different picture to it. So you'll notice that the tau is closed. So the way I think that this ought to be pronounced best, and people are going to differ on this, is with the mouth, with the teeth closed, and not very much breath, just a t, almost like a D, between a T and a D. Sometimes like a TH, a mild TH. The point is that you're not putting breath on it. With the tet, it's t, 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 and with the tau, it's t, t, t. almost like you're still saying it inside your throat, because the picture of the letter is that the mouth is closed. The upper part of the mouth is closed, and the sound is coming down onto your tongue, basically.